Can you just first, Nigel, just give your thoughts from last weekend and a few days on, your reflections, how you felt, what went right and what went wrong?
Yeah, we're very disappointed that we lost a game that, for the large part, we were in control of. We created a lot of opportunities. What we didn't do really is identify them and take our chances when they arose. I thought our forwards went well again. The set piece went well again. And they give us the opportunity to get more points, but unfortunately we lacked cohesion and communication as a side, and because of that we didn't take our opportunities. That meant that the game was always swinging in the balance and would always be decided by a decision or two, whether that be by the referee or by the players, and that was how it proved to be. I thought the referee did well, in fairness, overall, but 50-50 calls can sometimes make the difference, and because we hadn't taken our opportunities and because we hadn't managed our own fate properly, ultimately that's what made the difference.
But not too downbeat though, Nigel, in terms of where you are at the start of the season?
No, not too downbeat at all. I was just very frustrated that in a game that we dominated for large parts, we didn't take our chances to really seal it and win reasonably comfortably. So disappointed in that. But there's still lots of good here at the moment. I think the pack in particular have fronted up very well. Our set piece is going well. We're challenging the opposition set piece. We've just got to be more cohesive as a team, and the responsibility there really falls on some of our young backs to step up, and more than anything else, just get the communication right, because they're talented players, but unless we can communicate as a team, we're not going to take the chances that we're creating at the moment.
How are we looking at injury-wise? Obviously Andy Fenby missed last week. Is he likely to come back this week? Yeah,
Andy Fenby will be available for selection this week. Dan Evans unfortunately picked up a minor fracture in his hand, so he'll be out for about 4 weeks.
Right. That was early on in the game?
Yeah, it was early on in the game, really. Nick Reynolds is touch and go really whether he'll be available for this week, but he should definitely be available for the following week. We'll have to make a decision on him later on in the week.
Right. So in terms of full-back options, Ali came on there second half.
Yeah, Ali did a good job in fairness in the second half. There was the customary gale force wind, which was slightly against us in the second half, and Ali dealt with that very well. So he's an option there. Obviously Andy Fenby has played at 15 as well. Dan Newton can play at 15. So we've got a number of options there.
How did Rookie go at night?
Rookie went well, because it was his first game. Obviously getting used to our systems and our calls and our plays. But again, I think the connect between our backs and forwards was really the issue for us, where we fell down. And that was to do mainly with the communication outside of Rookie, really. We have to be a little bit slicker there than we were.
So you're basically saying you think boys need to be more vocal in the way they're playing?
Yeah, we need to be able to pick our heads up, make decisions, and then be vocal around what those decisions are. I keep on telling my players all the time, I'd far rather than make a decision and run through with that decision, rather than not make any decision and end up us becoming victims of our own inability to react properly to situations. So the onus really is on the team to pick up the communication, because I do firmly believe we're battling in games. Our forwards are right up there with all the teams left in the league at the moment, I think, ability wise. So we just have to gel a little bit as a team, and that will come primarily from our communication levels and taking on the responsibility of making decisions.
Rhys Thomas seems to be going pretty well for his couple of weeks of the season. Is he one of those players? It's a big year for him now?
It is a big year for Rhys, but I think our front row, and including our subs, at front row, is a strong area for us, and our scrum has been solid over the first 2 games and in the pre-season, and it's an area that we want to we want it to be a big part of our game in this first block of rugby.
Manchester sort of started off where they finished off last year, Nigel. I think they've lost about 10-11 games in the league. Playing them away where you haven't beaten them for a long time, it's a tough challenge, isn't it?
It is, and they're going very well, but I think the difference between them and teams like ourselves at the moment is that belief, and they believe that every time that they go out on the park they can win. I think it's an area that we focused on this year, and as you say, I think they've won the last 11 or 12 games in the league. I think they've beaten us the last 11 occasions we played them. So the pressure's all on them.
Is that almost, as you said, a belief? Is that something that almost Munster an example to other teams, that these tight games like South Africa on the weekend, I suppose?
Absolutely, I think that's the difference. Really, it's a mental attitude. It's that belief that regardless of whatever happens, they can come back and they can win games. And we've always played very well and competitively against Munster sides, and I expect the same again this week. But what we have to do is nail those key moments as they arise, and have the confidence to go and play there. We're not going to go there to hide. We're going to go there to play. And this group, I think they realise that they've been competitive in all the fixtures they've played, and we've got to start winning these tight games, and no better place to try and do it, really.
Because last year, I think, was a pass at the end, was it?
There was a final passage of play at the end, which maybe a pass, maybe a pass to would have given us the result, really.
And there was that trip the year before. Was it
Fenview trip, yeah.
So we came close in the last two.
We have come close, Where Munster are very good, they do have a lot of strength in depth and a lot of experience in that depth as well. So, and that's why they're going to still be very competitive at this phase of the season. But it's a great challenge for us. We haven't been successful against them for a long, long time. But I firmly believe we've always been competitive against them. So it's really about us getting it right on the day again.
And I don't know how Liam Williams made his debut last week. I mean, if he started playing again, he'd be up, assuming it'd be someone like Howlett.
Yeah, Liam did very well. I'm very impressed with Liam. Unfortunately, he's got a family commitment this weekend, which makes him unavailable for us. But he was superb, and somebody that I think's got a big future in the game. He's one of these players that just wants to play. He's got real attitude and aggression, and a lot of qualities as well. So I think he'll be somebody who'll be a big player for us in years to come.
Don't really leave you with many options behind the script, Nigel.
No, it's not as if we've got a huge amount, but what we've got should be fine. And the thing with this group really is that we just have to try and accelerate their development as quickly as we can. And these games will help. Being exposed at this level is very important to them, and having the exposure will help them develop. And we as coaches then have got to make sure we sit on top of them and sort of accelerate that further.
How tough is this time, Nigel, this sort of World Cup period? Because there's a lot, especially behind the scrum, Rob was saying about options there, but you're sort of victims of your own success, really, that you've developed players young, and obviously they've come through quickly.
There's a lot of teams in the same position, and we've just got to manage like everybody else has got to manage. I've got no issues with it at all. I think it's an opportunity for these boys to accelerate their development, and that's what how we're looking at it. They will fall short on occasions, like I felt we did last weekend, but we've learned a lot from that, and I hope to put into practice a lot of what we've learned. So the quicker we can accelerate their development, the quicker we'll start winning again.
Have you been surprised by how quickly Rhys has taken to the number 10 jersey, talking like a Wales point of view?
Not really. I've always had 100% faith in Rhys. It hasn't been easy. He's had a lot of stick in the position 18 months ago, but we've as a coaching group, have always believed the qualities that he belongs to, and it was always a case of getting that confidence, a lot of the youngsters that we have now have to do, and that comes from playing and being exposed, and that's what Rhys has done. He's proved himself, like we always felt he would, and he's now commanding, in fairness to him, the international shirt, really.
Have a tough decision when they come back, isn't it?
Yeah, and we had some tough decisions last year as well. It wasn't easy, it wasn't straightforward. What Rhys has got on his side, I suppose, is his age, and so it's great to have the experience of Steve, and the enthusiasm and ability of Rhys as well.